Yo, what's up? This is Mike back with another video. And we're gonna talk about this phone right here a little bit. This is the LG G6. Now you can get an LG G6 on Amazon for real cheap. I've had this phone since August of last year. This is the T-Mobile version. Okay, this is what the ice platinum color, something like that. Is it still worth it? That's a good question. Now, I'm still on Android 8.0.0. Now, there's been rumblings that this phone is supposed to get Android P. But that's one thing. This is one thing I do like about LG phones, how you got the weather on your lock screen. That is cool. But it is rumblings that this phone is supposed to get Android P. But with LG, you never fucking know. You know what I'm saying? But I actually really like this phone. You know what I'm saying? I like this phone. And I like the way it look. I like the build quality. I like the chamfered edges. Let me take it out the case. I got a bunch of different cases for it. You know, I got the Spigen, all black with the carbon fiber case. I got a bunch of different cases for it. So, but it's just sad that LG doesn't really do a good job at updating their phones. They just don't do a good job at updating their phones. And cuz it's a nice phone. I mean, you got waterproofing, you got wireless charging, even though I don't use wireless charging. You got quick charge 3.0. The regular cameras, the auto mode, if you just point and shoot with the regular camera, I don't think the pictures look all that good. Same thing in video, but soon as if you just click it on manual mode, then the pictures and the video come out looking way better. You know what I'm saying? But I can't wait till this phone get Android P, because I think this phone really needs another update. And it's a nice phone. I mean, I just love the way it looks. I think they took a step down with the LG G7 that came out last year with that dumbass notch on the front. And same thing with the G8. Like, the G8 isn't a bad phone, but you can't be coming out with phones with huge notches on them in 2019. That's not going to fly anymore. You know what I'm saying? You got the always on display. So far, what is this phone running? I think it's running the Snapdragon 821 with 4 gigs of RAM. I game on this phone. I got the PSP emulator, so I'll be playing Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition. And it works fine, you know what I'm saying? But LG and their update system is just not that good. I mean, call quality is still good. I mean, with the older software, it is kind of like you do hear some hiccups. Like, it's not the fastest phone, you know what I'm saying? Another thing I ain't like that LG got criticized when they first came out with this phone, only 32 gigs of storage, but I like the look of this phone. The main thing that's making me keep this phone is the look. I like the look of this phone. You know what I'm saying? Now, initially I was mad when I got this phone last year that T-Mobile didn't have the black one, because that's the one I want. Like, I normally get all my phones in black if I can. I don't know why, I am that way. I mean, besides having a red Samsung S3 back in 2012, and I had the LG V20 that I had only came in titanium gray and a darker type of gray color. And I think it came in pink or something like that. So obviously I went for the darker titanium gray color on that phone. But this ice platinum color looks good. Even though I was disappointed that T-Mobile didn't have the black one, this ice platinum looks good. You can I mean, like I said, it's not as fast as my OnePlus 6T or anything like that, but the phone gets the job done. And I think if it does get that Android P update, that will help this phone a lot. Battery life, I think this phone has like a 32 or 33 milliamp hour battery. Battery life is good. It's good. Um, which is why when they came out with the G7, I don't know why they went back to 3,000 milliamp hour battery on that phone. Didn't make any sense. Um, but this is just me rambling about the LG G6. If you can get this phone on Amazon, because I've actually seen this phone on Amazon for like $130 and something like that. You know what I'm saying? You can get these phones dirt cheap. You know what I'm saying? Dirt cheap. But the fact that this doesn't, you don't know when it's going to get the update. There's been rumblings that it's supposed to get the update like the fourth quarter of this year or something like that. Who knows with LG when you're dealing with them? And that's the sad part, because the LG G6 was probably their last good phone that got a lot of good praise. Because when you look at the V40, that got a lot of criticism. The G7 even got criticism, and the G8 got tons of criticism, and the V50 got tons of criticism. You know what I'm saying? But I remember when the G6 first came out in 2017, like early 2017, it got a lot of good reviews from YouTubers. You know what I'm saying? A lot of good reviews. They liked the look of the phone, the build of the phone. You know, and it seems like since then, LG's kind of went downhill a little bit, But if you could pick this phone up for cheap, like if you see it on Amazon or Swapper.com, and you can get it for like $100 and something or 200, yeah, it's definitely worth picking up. Probably LG's last good phone, to be honest with you. I mean, the other phones after this were good, but this was probably LG's last phone that didn't get a ton of hate. The only hate that I remember that this phone got was when it came out around the early part of 2017. A lot of people was like, why does it have an old processor? Because the Snapdragon 821 was from 2016. And when this phone came out in 2017, like March or whatever, it had the Snapdragon 821. So a lot of people was like, why didn't you put the Snapdragon 835 in it? And that was a legitimate criticism that LG seems to have corrected, because now when they come out with their G series phones in the early part of the year, it has that year's processor instead of the previous year's processor, right? I could be wrong, but didn't the LG G7 have the Snapdragon 845? It didn't have the 835 from 2016. 17. It had the 845. You know what I'm saying? Didn't the G8 that came out this year have the Snapdragon 855? It didn't have the Snapdragon 845 from 2018. So I think LG has probably learned their lesson with that. But if you can pick this phone up on Swapper.com or Amazon for $200 or less, I would definitely pick this phone up, as your backup phone, or even if you just like one of those guys that just want a nice, dependable smartphone that works and you don't need all the new flashy, the Samsung Note 8, the Samsung Note 10 and, the OnePlus 7 Pro and all that stuff. Yeah, this phone is a definite, buy. You got waterproofing, you got wireless charging, you got Quick Charge 3.0. You got tons of features, great camera. The camera out of the box is a little iffy, but, the manual mode is awesome, just awesome on video and regular photo, on video and on photos. So, LG, man, you hit it out the park with this phone, except for having the older processor in it. Other than that, this was a great phone right here. Oh, and this phone does have a face unlock, which is not as fast as my OnePlus 6T face unlock, because my OnePlus 6T, all you gotta do is just look at it and it'll unlock. With the LG G6, I don't have it activated right now, but with the LG G6, you gotta hold the phone like right up to your face and it'll unlock. And it only works in the morning time in like sunlight. So if it's like dark outside, then the face unlock won't work. So there's that. But this mic sounding off for another video. And yes, I recommend it. You can pick this phone up if you can find it for $200 or less. This phone right here is a major buy, because it's an older flagship from 2 years ago that is still pretty relevant today and can still run a lot of your favorite apps just fine. I mean, from time to time, I take my SIM card out of my OnePlus 6T and I pop it into my LG G6. And one thing about it is, you would think when I downgrade to the smaller screen, because I think that the OnePlus 6T is a 6.4 inch display, and this LG G6 is a 5.7. So you would think that when I go down to the smaller display, it's a problem, but it's not. This phone right here is so ergonomically. I'm probably not even saying that word, but you guys know what I'm probably not even saying that word right, but you guys know what I'm talking about. This phone is put together so well as far as its dimensions that I don't have a problem. I can honestly go back to using a phone like this, which is probably why I'm thinking about getting one of those Pixels. Because even though I like the 6.4 inch display on the OnePlus 6T, I honestly think the 5.7, 5.8 is really my favorite sweet spot, to be honest with you. It's probably one of the reasons why I didn't get the OnePlus 7 Pro. I think that phone has like a 6.7 inch display or something like that. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, and now the Note has like a 6.8, the Note 10 or something like that, 10 plus. I don't need all that. This phone, it fits good in the hand. The screen size is perfect. All LG had to do was just build off the success of this phone. Because it's not a coincidence that after this phone came out, all the other LG phones after it started getting hate. Now, the LG G7 got a lot of praise, but people hated the fact that they went back to a 3,000 milliamp hour battery and it had a huge notch on it. Then the V40 got a ton of backlash and, not very good recommendations from reviewers. Same thing with the V50 and same thing with the G8. You know what I'm saying? But go back and look at some of the reviews for this LG G6 when it first came out, it had a lot of positive reviews. A lot of positive reviews. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even find too many negative reviews, except for the fact that they used the Snapdragon 821 instead of the newer 835 processor. But yeah, I would definitely recommend the LG G6. If you can find it cheap, buy it. It's a beautiful phone.